recognizing your mental weaknesses and how to empower yourself this week.
That's what we're going to be talking about.
It's going to be a very exciting episode, motivational, that'll get you from sitting on your backside to moving in the right direction for you.
To finding some solutions and to understanding a little bit more about what's actually going on in your mind.
Yes, recognizing your habits and what makes you think that you're mentally weak, because you may find that you're actually mentally strong.
A lot stronger than what you believe you are. So
I think that's what's so exciting.
Yes, there are possibilities here, lots of them.
So listen in to this week's episode of
Get Real with the English Sisters.
Mind, health and anxiety. We are therapists and we are here to help you.
Yes.
Feel calmer, feel more empowered, and generally feel better.
Feel better because the more you understand how your own mind works, the more you can feel in control and calmer. So I think that's very, very important, isn't it?
Wow, who doesn't want to feel calm in today's frenetic world?
Yes, exactly. Who doesn't? We all need it. We all need to feel a little bit calmer.
We do.
And to have more empathy for ourselves as well.
And I think to have more empathy for others too.
Yes, good point. Yeah, definitely have more empathy.
A lot of us are so quick to judge and quick to get on our high horse about things, on our soapbox or whatever.
Yes. And what we're finding more and more is that the society is becoming a lot about self-care and looking after, all of your own things. But it is becoming a little bit more individualistic. So I do think that sometimes looking outside of the I, looking outside of me and seeing a broader view can definitely help you become less anxious and less concerned as well, because you're thinking, well, if other people may be feeling that way, or maybe I can understand that point of view now.
Well, I think that we're in an age now where I don't think we've ever been more divided.
Exactly.
So there's very polar opposites in politics, in just everyday life. We get fed the stuff that we want to see, so we can only see one side of things.
Yes, everyone has their own news feed.
Yes,
and it's all each person.
It's individual.
The more you click on that because you like it and you're interested, the more you're going to get that. But that's going to give you your point of view, and it's going to reinforce that point of view, whether it's political, whatever it is. It's going to reinforce that.
It can be dangerous.
It can. So I think we have to be a little bit more aware that other people may be getting their own news feed, and that's why they're reacting to what we're saying in that particular way.
Yeah, in such a polar opposite way. So
it
the
could
opposite
be,
way
yes.
to how you're thinking, which is very divisive.
It could be, yes. I mean, I'm just thinking about family arguments, for example. A lot of the times it's difficult to see somebody else's point of view.
Definitely.
So we all have to have the ability, I think, and this is a tool, isn't it, really? You learn how to do this. You can learn how to step out of your own mind and go into somebody else's shoes, like what there's that expression, step into somebody else's shoes. Try and see their point of view. Why are they speaking to you that way? What's going on? What kind of hurt is going on in their mind? Why do they feel as if you're attacking them? Or why do they feel that they have to be so defensive? These are all things that, we can discuss at length.
I think if you it's what we always say. If your listeners, you'll hear this in every episode.
Yeah.
Self-awareness is the key to everything. Once you become self-aware, just everything just gets so easy.
Yes.
You can just see everything for what it is. You can see other people's points of view. You can
understand them. You can stop feeling so
Empathise.
frustrated. It's like you're in the car and you're driving and you're thinking, why is that person being so slow? Gosh, they're so, I often hear my husband say things like that. Yeah, saying, what's wrong with them? What an idiot. And I always think, you don't know what kind of day that person has had. This is going to sound really cliche, but it's so true. How do you know what's going on? What's happened? What kind of news has that person received? You have no idea. And you're making a judgment based on what? The fact that they're going slowly. The fact that they didn't speed off because the green light turned on.
Well, would you say that you're like, this would be mentally weak then? Your husband reacting like that is a mental weakness?
Frustration is, I think, it can definitely be classified as a mental weakness. Anger can definitely be classified as a mental weakness. Anger is a normal thing to experience, but if you feel that you're getting over angry and you always feel frustrated and angry about certain situations that perhaps you can see other people cope with in a different way, then you can think, perhaps that might be one of my weaknesses.
Yeah.
Maybe I could work on that. Maybe I can, like my husband, he listened to me and then he just smiled and he thought, I wish I could see the world the way you see it. And I said, it's something I learned how to do. I learned how to do this. It's a skill. Maybe I am naturally empathetic, but I think 70% is the skill.
To learn.
It's mastering the skill of stepping out of your own mind and thinking, I don't know what that other person is experiencing. I do have no idea. Let me be respectful of that. And let me try and understand that. And so you learn how to do this. So it's definitely
I
a
do
skill.
like that. I like the fact that you are respecting that person.
Yes, yes.
Because I think there's so much disrespect nowadays.
Yes, it's so easy to be disrespectful and not to understand and see the other person as a vulnerable human being.
And the thing is that I think people that are being disrespectful, they don't actually realise they're being disrespectful.
No, it's what you said. If you're not aware of the fact that you do have any mental weaknesses, as we've decided to use that word here, then you're not aware of it. No, you have to become aware of it in the first place. And I think if you have them, you'll probably know, because
a lot of the times I get criticised by family members or friends, and they say that you're too kind. You always see the nice, the good side in people. You're too nice. That's their reaction when I say something like that. Like if I say to my husband, "Oh, you don't know who's driving. They might have had a bad day, or they might be really frenetic at the moment because they're stressed out."
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, but you're too kind. That's how you see things."
So he would consider your kindness to be almost a mental weakness.
Yes.
From his point of view. Obviously, it's all subjective, isn't it? Yes, this is very subjective. It's how you decide to live your life. That kind of life choices that make your life fuller and less filled with stress and anxiety. So that's how you choose to live your life. So for you, it's not. For me as well, it gives me serenity and peace of mind to be kind, and even though I might find some situations frustrating, like in long queues, and I went to the post office the other day, I had to physically go, which I already think, oh, how boring, this is so boring, because you could receive an email and I think, why? But then at the same time, the lady behind the desk, she was picking up her phone every 5 minutes, and there was like 3 or 4 people going, can't she put her bloody phone down? What the hell is she doing? And in my mind, that could have been my first thought. I thought, oh yeah, drag. Then I thought, how do I know what she's going on? maybe she's got this really important message. Maybe she has an elderly parent. Maybe she's got kids at school. How do I know what kind of notification she was anxious to receive? And that instantly calmed me down. So that's my way that I can cope, and I find it very, very helpful to me to think like that, because it reduces my anxiety levels. I instantly calm down when I thought of it that way. I wished I could have told other people, but I probably would have got shouted at, So I kept quiet, and just by being calm, I think in the end, and sending out a few smiles and calmness to other people, they kind of caught that vibe. Well, there was one lady, energy. She like smiled back, and we just, I thought, let's just chill. In the end, how long has it really been? It has been 30 minutes, but we'll be okay.
I think a lot of people as well, I mean, she might have been working, because now you get work emails on your phone.
Yeah, who knows what
she might have been getting notifications about the work she's supposed to be doing at the post office.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know exactly. So we don't know. So I think a lot of the time we judge without knowing, and that can also be the signs of getting very frustrated, very angry. That could be something that's definitely worth working on if you're feeling it.
Yeah,
because these kinds of emotions can be, there's something that's going to limit your life. In the end,
it stops you from seeing other things, doesn't it? It stops you from actually seeing the world with a different perspective, with a different lens.
Well, it definitely stops you, and it definitely
makes
causes you to feel anger.
Kinder and more sympathetic and more empathetic to people's needs.
Definitely. I mean, another one is when you're constantly procrastinating.
Yes.
That's another thing that could be something definitely that if
could
you're
be
aware of.
Considered mental weakness, couldn't it?
Well, yeah, because it's something
you're
else.
Delaying.
You're kind of, in the end, you're delaying your whole life. Especially if you're one of these procrastinators that are very good at it. You're an expert.
That's a strength, isn't it?
Being an expert procrastinator.
Well, yes. If you think I'm really good at this, it's a skill, isn't it? You can reframe it. You can use a reframing technique to say, If I am so amazing at procrastinating, I have this amazing skill,
this ability.
I can use this to my advantage and stop procrastinating, basically. Use that strength and perseverance that you have
to procrastinate
to actually go and do something.
Because you
force yourself to do something. Actually force yourself, discipline yourself into doing something you need to do.
As you are so disciplined not to do a particular task, you can be just as disciplined to do it.
Exactly.
Because you do have the strength not to do it. So what's going on in your mind? You may not see it as a strength, but you are capable of procrastinating. So you are saying that since you're capable of procrastinating, you can also be capable of doing something else with just as much determination. Exactly. As you say, no, I won't do that now. I don't want to do my whatever it is you've got to do. You can be just as determined to say, well, if I can do that, I can also do the opposite.
I can do it.
I can do it, and I can do it now because I'm capable of procrastination to such a
good
level.
You can do it, and we've done it. We've tried this out. You just do the opposite. Just do the opposite.
I
don't want to make that phone call. I don't want to book that appointment. Go book it. Make it.
Do it.
Do it now.
Do it quickly. Yes, everything you think you've been procrastinating.
I don't want to. I used to have it with a supermarket. I used to hate going shopping. I mean, now my husband goes. That's how I've got round it.
But you delegate. Sometimes you can delegate things. A lot of things that you find particularly tedious.
And then you can do something else that you don't find as tedious.
Yes. I do that as well. I say to my husband, if you go and buy the groceries, I will do this. And we have a little barter. It's like teamwork. I think that's very useful in relationships, because if you find something particularly tedious and you just don't, you just find it boring, then you can get, a teamwork.
Yeah, but when I used to have to go to the supermarket and get the groceries, I would just reframe it and think how lucky I was to be able to afford to go to the supermarket.
Yes.
To have such a beautiful selection. I mean, we live in Italy, but if you're living in any major town, you probably got the same, hopefully. And if you haven't, it's something to appreciate. Whatever you've got, it's something, if you're appreciative, that's a big mental strength to be appreciative.
Oh, yes, to be grateful. Yes. Definitely one of the top strengths. I do think that if you feel that you're always criticizing, always in a position, or not always, but very often, that's already a lot, isn't it? Very often, most of your day is spent. Think about this now. If you do a little mental exercise, if you think, what are the thoughts that you're having during your day? Are most of them moaning about something or somebody, complaining and moaning and feeling ungrateful for things, criticizing, judging, feeling anger? Think about those things. Is most of my day spent that way? And do you like living like that? How does that make you feel? I think most people say it makes me feel bad, because we know it makes you feel bad. We're therapists, and we've also, whenever we experience these kind of feelings, it doesn't make me feel good to feel like that.
Now I quickly turn it around.
Yes.
I think I'm being judgmental now, or I'm doing this. Don't do it. Stop it.
Stop it, yes. Change it around. Yeah. So we use this technique called reframing, which is an actual NLP technique, and it just means that you're like literally changing the frame of what you can see, which is the picture or your life situation. What can you see, and how can you reframe that? So if we put it into practical examples.
You can have a positive spin. How can you have a positive spin on that?
On whatever it is.
So like if you're waiting in traffic or in a queue, the positive spin is that you could discover something new. Because I remember once when I was waiting in traffic, I started looking around and I discovered this lovely little restaurant on the side of the road that I had never seen before. Or if you're waiting in a queue, you might strike up a lovely conversation with someone, and they might live next to you, and you might be able to go to their house for tea or to have a coffee, or you might make a new friendship or a new love interest.
We don't know, because just by talking with somebody else, it's that can open possibilipossibilities, can't it? Just talking, literally.
Or you can just,
it's lovely. You can still do that nowadays.
You can have comfort in it.
You can find
like you were talking to the gardener the other day, weren't you?
Yes.
To your gardener, and he was worried because he's buying a car from a different city,
and
he didn't know whether they were trustworthy or not. And you Googled it for him, and you found out.
Yeah.
And he was super grateful and happy and felt comforted. Didn't he?
He did, yeah, because he spoke to somebody, and I just found out online.
Through the reviews.
And I thought, well, look, it's got 38,000 reviews. I think you can be calm in thinking this is a trustworthy place for you to go and spend your money. I think you'll be okay. Obviously, you never really, really fully know. But, based on what I could find, I told him. And he was very calmed down by that. So, actually, yes, not forgetting that talking to other people is really good for your psyche and for your mental health as well. So, once again, we're talking about connecting. If you find that you do feel frustrated and angry, and maybe you're living in fear as well.
A lot of fear.
Yeah.
A lot of fear is masked by anger.
Yes. And that's something that you can perhaps, if you decide, you can share that with other people, can't you?
Well,
and you can share,
what happens when you're fearful? Once you share it with someone, they might say, yeah, I'm fearful of that too. I'm scared of that too. I don't like that. Or I'm scared about this situation and I feel fear when I do that. But, feel the fear and do it anyway kind of thing. You can face your fears and conquer them.
like my son, he's 25 now, and the other day he came in and he was all looking all miserable. I said, what's happened? He goes, Mum, haven't you heard the news? And I thought, oh my gosh, the news. This news is 99% is filled with doom and gloom, darling. You know, if you're going to base, look at your face. Look at how stressed out you are. He goes, Mum, but it's just the news. I mean, I don't know. I go, obviously, if I listen to it and I tune in, I will be affected by it. But if it's out, I can't do anything about this right now. So let's look at where you are now. You're here, you're working in the family business. We've got another family business. You're working with your mother, your father. You know that everybody's okay around you. We're going to have a lovely cappuccino. So let's think about the present moment now, and let's focus on that. And then I could see that slowly he began to calm down.
Yeah.
So I think
that's one of the techniques, isn't it? Just to be mindful,
Yes.
be in the present moment. Don't allow your mind to run away with. Just think, this is my reality. And people may say that that's selfish. And it's selfish to be like that, because that means you don't care about anything that's going on.
it doesn't mean you don't care.
It means
just
that
means
you care too much.
Yes, things
And
that
you actually absorb the information and think about it,
and
it
they
gets
will make you feel ill.
ill.
And is that going to be helpful to anybody for you to feel ill? No. Is that going to prove a point that you can be empathetic with the whole world and yet shout at the person that's next to you? Because that's what often happens with these situations, that you become so involved in situations you actually can't help or do anything about. That if there's somebody that's just sitting next to you, you don't see them. So what is that telling us?
That's the tragedy of
That's
it.
a tragedy. It's a paradox.
Yeah.
You become completely absorbed in things that are on the side of the world, or things that you cannot help, and yet the things that you really can help, you become blind to, and you can't see or listen to these people around you. And that is a big tragedy. And I think if we focus more on the present and on the things that we can do, we can build our mental strength.
Yeah, and then everybody, all the people all around us will become more mentally strong as well, and feel calmer and feel good. And then that can radiate into our own little world, but it radiates out into the bigger world.
It does in the end. It does radiate
It
into the bigger
doesn't
world.
help if everybody's anxious, everybody's nervous, and everybody's on the edge of burnout in a world of today, because there's just so much information that's like attacking us every day.
It's
we
bombarded.
have to stop it and push it away and look at our own little worlds and have a more simple life based on mindfulness. For instance, the other day, I know I'm extremely lucky because I've got a beautiful garden, and we've created the life that we wanted to create for ourselves. We've been extremely fortunate. But we've also
We've
made
overcome many challenges, though. Many challenges,
haven't we?
Yes.
With our health and with our parents being ill and everything. But we've always managed to just enjoy that cappuccino, or look out the window. The other day I looked out the window, it was sunrise and the crows were crowing. First they were driving me nuts because they woke me up. Then I thought, no, this is the wildlife. They're here. They're having their own little conversation with each other. And the garden is looking beautiful because it rained overnight. And isn't this beautiful? And if you live in a city, you can do the same. You can look out the window and look at your neighbours and think about their little lives that are going on. And just be in the present moment. And it is so beautiful when you just stop and nothing else matters. And it's just you and what's around you.
And you can connect with others that way. Because we do need other people.
We do.
You need it in order to feel better. So if you connect with somebody and you smile at them, or you just connect, even if their music, imagine you're living in an apartment, the music is so loud, the next door neighbour's driving you nuts, like you gave the example of the crows, which is nicer, but sometimes, other people can also drive you crazy with their music and that. you can reframe it and think, okay, then maybe they're having a party.
Maybe I
You know,
can
it
dance
sounds
too.
like fun. Yes. Maybe I can dance too, or I can just enjoy the fact that there are other people enjoying themselves, or just, if anything, become neutral to it and tune into my own thoughts if you can. There are different ways of dealing with this. Your mind can choose. It's funny how we're able to block out things when we want to,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes.
So you can focus on that particular noise with all your intent and let it drive you crazy and drive you mad. Or you can decide to, first of all, to understand that noise and become empathetic to it, whatever it is, or just think, oh, they're youngsters, or they're having a party, whatever it is, and go along with it. Or you can decide to tune out and start focusing on other things, and you will have that capacity. You can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You can tune out as well.
And
it's
you
a
can
skill.
also get some noise cancelling headphones if it gets really bad.
If it gets really bad, yes.
Because
I was just
sometimes
thinking it was going to be a one-time thing. Yeah. Obviously, sometimes it just becomes part of you just become used to it.
Yeah, do you remember when we went on holiday that time? We went to Barbados and how we couldn't sleep because of the birds.
Yeah, I do. That was a beautiful experience.
It was just so loud.
It was
because
so loud
we live here and we have lots of birds here, but we can't hear them because we've just tuned them out.
Yeah, they're European sounds now.
They're European
little birds.
But when you hear the different sounds,
the tropical birds,
so loud, and I thought I'm never going to be able to sleep here with this
I felt that when we first got out of the airport, I thought I couldn't even talk to you.
I couldn't hear you.
It's so ridiculous because it was only like, how long were we there for? 10 days or something?
No, it was like 5 days.
Only
it was a work trip for my husband. Oh, yeah. You remember? And we all went along.
We all went along with all the kids. Yeah, it was wonderful. Oh, was it only 5 days?
No,
God, it felt like
it was nothing. It was short, maybe 6 days.
Well, I'm so glad we enjoyed it so much. At the time, we had this kind of like time distortion.
We did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember. Yeah. That's because our mum, when she passed away, she would always say to us, I don't want you to be sad and gloomy. I want you to go on holiday. I want you to go on holiday. Go on holiday. Have an experience. So we thought, okay, if she had any little leftovers, she wasn't rich, but she had a little tiny bit of money left over. And we all decided, all of my family as well, my husband, my 2 children, and all of us went on this Barbados trip just after she had died. And it became this celebratory experience.
It was beautiful.
It was so beautiful. We were just so much in the moment there.
Yeah.
And it did feel like time was much
Maybe
longer.
That's why we could hear the birds more as well, because
we
our
were
senses were heightened.
We were kind of like in this trance experience, because for all our lives, ever since we were children, I think the fact that our mum, she had me when she was 42.
Yeah.
And you when she was 41. So I do believe that she had like this sense that she wouldn't live that long.
She used to say she might die.
She did, yeah, which is very, not exactly. Yeah, she did used to say that. And she would always...
Especially when she was going through menopause.
Yes.
I remember her saying it. She was obviously more frightened at the time.
She became more anxious. Yeah, she did, yeah. She would say that. So I do believe that when we got there, all our lives, she would say, don't cry, go on a holiday, enjoy yourselves, have a party, go on a holiday, go on a holiday. So we went on this holiday and it was the best. It's true, we could hear the birds.
Holiday.
But I remember asking my husband, can you speak the birds? And he said, I can't. What birds?
I think my husband could hear them.
Yes, a little bit more.
but not like us.
Not like us. He was just, fine, yeah. We were asking the kids, can you hear?
You know, like when you go to a nightclub or something and the music's so loud.
Yes, that's
how it felt for us. Because I remember we went out to the little place where you eat. And I remember thinking, I can't talk here because the birds are making so much noise. It's so funny. And we were thinking the same thing.
Me and you were like, wow, the birds. They're amazing. They're beautiful, but
we couldn't see them though.
No. tone it down a bit. I felt like
could just hear them.
I felt like this is amazing, but I mean,
As soon as we got to the airport,
I mean, we saw that hummingbird coming towards us. It felt like some kind of,
it was actually in the airport.
It was inside the airport, which was really weird. This little tiny hummingbird. And my son, who was obsessed with nature, he was only like 10, he said, "Wow, Mum, there's a hummingbird." So I turned around and I saw it and I thought, wow, this is already becoming this magical experience.
It was.
But then with this loud noise, but then the whole point of it is that we were saying
You couldn't hear it afterwards.
is because at the end of the holiday, the birds had
gone.
Yeah, we were asking ourselves, what's happened to the birds? Have they stopped singing? And then we realized it. No, our brains have deleted that sound now. So this is the power of the mind.
Exactly.
This is
That
what
was
your
a big
mind can do.
Wasn't it?
Yes.
It's a light bulb moment.
You can see and hear things depending on how you're feeling. And you can also delete other things that
aren't relevant.
So you can do this. Our mind does this naturally to help us. But you can also do this. You can learn to think, okay, this is a well, that's not the right word. But anyway, this is something that's just happening for now. But I can realize that I have the ability to tune this out and tune this sound out, or these feelings that I'm experiencing at the moment
Of overwhelm.
and frustration can also be, deleted from my mind. They can be tuned down. So we've gone back on our trip again.
We have. It was very beautiful.
Very beautiful indeed. So we do hope this episode has been of help. If you have any thoughts on it, please write to us, send us a message.
Come and see us on YouTube where you can see the video too. And now there's YouTube communities as well where you can come and say hi. And please do come and say hi somewhere, whether you're listening on Spotify,
say hello. It
Apple
makes a difference.
Podcasts, or if you're seeing us on YouTube where you can actually see the video as well as the podcast. Please do come and say hi, because it makes such a difference. The other day, we don't actually get that many messages. The other day, someone said, "I've listened to your episode twice and some really useful tips," and it really did make our day.
Yeah.
So please do come and say hi. We love hearing from you.
And let us know if any of your mental weaknesses you think you can work on them, or help yourself become aware of them.
And
Definitely.
they may be your actual mental strength in the end, because you can turn everything around.
You can.
So see you
Definitely.
soon. Lots of love and smiles
from the English sisters.
Bye.